This is the story of the man who became Dracula. But before there was vampires, there was Vlad the Impaler. The story of Dracula begins not with vampires, but with political turmoil. Born Vlad III in the 15th century, he was a prince of Wallachia, a small kingdom sandwiched between the powerful Hungarian and Ottoman empires. To ensure his father's loyalty to the crumbling Hungarian throne, young Vlad and his younger brother were sent as political hostages to the Ottoman court in Istanbul. There they lived for years under the watchful eye of the Sultan, cut off from their homeland and forced to navigate the treacherous world of 15th century diplomacy. While his brother embraced the culture and religion of his captors, Vlad endured years of hardship, witnessing firsthand the brutal realities of power. It was a far cry from the idyllic countryside of Wallachia, a land of rolling hills and fertile farmlands. The call to prayer echoed through the streets of Istanbul, a constant reminder of the foreign world that Vlad had been thrust into. Forced to convert to Islam, Vlad took the name Abdul Vlad, signifying his submission to the dominant power. But beneath this veneer of obedience, resentment and determination simmered. Vlad resolved to never forget his heritage and waited patiently for his chance to return home. When the opportunity finally presented itself, Vlad returned to his homeland a changed man, a prince determined to reclaim his throne and protect his people with an iron fist. The people of Wallachia saw him as a hero, a liberator who had broken the chains of Ottoman domination. But those who had opposed his father during his reign of terror viewed Vlad with suspicion, convinced that he would mirror his father's tyranny. Despite these challenges, Vlad's charisma and ruthlessness won over many, and he quickly consolidated his power, setting his sights on the Ottomans. Throughout his reign, Vlad repeatedly refused to pay tribute to the Sultan and launched a series of surprise attacks and guerrilla campaigns against them. In one of his most famous acts of defiance, he even created a forest of impaled Ottoman soldiers outside of his capital, a terrifying sight that was designed to break the morale of any invading army. Vlad was known as a cunning strategist and a ferocious warrior, leading his troops into battle with a ferocity that inspired awe and terror in equal measure. He was particularly adept at exploiting the weaknesses of his enemies, often using deception and psychological warfare to gain the upper hand. His tactics were as brutal as they were effective, and he earned the respect and fear of his enemies. But Vlad's reign was not without its challenges. The nobles of Wallachia were a powerful force, and many of them resented Vlad's efforts to curtail their power. They accused him of being a tyrant and a traitor to his bloodline, claiming that his methods were too extreme, and that he had abandoned the traditions of his people. Despite these challenges, Vlad remained steadfast in his commitment to defending Wallachia from the Ottomans. He continued to launch raids into Ottoman territory, and his reputation as a fearless warrior grew. However, his tactics alienated many of his allies, including the Saxon merchants of Transylvania, with whom he had once had good relations. Vlad's paranoia and brutality eventually led to his downfall. In 1462, his younger brother, who had been raised in the Ottoman court, rebelled with Ottoman support and drove Vlad from power. The once mighty Prince of Darkness went into exile, a fugitive in Hungary where he spent years plotting his return to Wallachia. In 1476, Vlad was finally allowed back to Wallachia, and he wasted no time in stamping his authority on the kingdom. But his third and final reign was tragically short-lived. The exact circumstances of his death are a mystery, but some accounts suggest that he was killed in battle with Ottoman assassins, while others claim he was accidentally killed by his own men who mistook him for a Turk. Whatever the truth, his head was sent to the Ottoman Sultan as proof of his death, a grim end for a ruler whose ambition and ruthlessness had made him a legend in his own time. The brutal history of Vlad the Impaler became the folklore that inspired Bram Stoker to write Dracula. The historical Prince of Darkness became the fictional Count Dracula, and his life of defiance and cruelty became a tale of a bloodthirsty monster. The historical Vlad died fighting for his kingdom, but the fictional Dracula became a symbol of immortal evil. His life is a testament to the power of a name and how a brutal, historical figure can become the source of a legend that terrifies millions. For more epic tales of ancient courage and strategy, make sure to like and subscribe to Legion Chronicles History.